Welcome to Soundbite, the podcast where we talk to interesting people in the Maritimes about their stories and current issues. I'm Caitlin Dutt, one of your co-hosts.
And I'm Tim Porter. All right, Caitlin, we're going to do a week of In the News.
Yes, a special edition episode today.
Have you been following the news this week?
Oh, yeah, it's been busy for sure. I mean, there's always health and education and homelessness. There's always those themes just constantly circulating every single week.
All right. So you got a laptop in front of you.
Yes,
what
I do.
What do you got to throw at us?
Yeah, so I actually just posted this morning. CBC News posted that 41,000 New Brunswickers had left Horizon ERs before being seen last year. Now, this doesn't even include Vitalité,
right?
Because they don't have the statistics yet, or they haven't provided them.
And this is the third highest in the country, right?
It is, which I'm actually surprised it's not higher. I feel bad for PEI in Manitoba that are higher than even us.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's expected. I mean, there are a lot of stories that you hear about people that are facing long waits at ERs, and maybe they don't want to spend the night, or they've spent the night and they're kind of fed up, kind of thing. But you do hear that.
I've definitely been the person who's left the ER.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever left the ER?
I don't know if I've just left and not been seen. But no, I like there was somebody we work with mentioned that they also were in that boat last year and had left. And I guess it's not uncommon. I guess it depends on where you live. I know there's a lot of stress on some of the city hospitals, particularly like we live in Fredericton, and I think Fredericton is a little over capacity in terms of the ER.
Yep, for sure. Fredericton's showing a lot of growth, so it gets hard on our hospital systems.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is understandable, and I know the government is it's on its radar to fix because we've had some tragic incidents in the past.
Yeah, I mean, you read people dying in the ER, which is just waiting, and that's a little bit concerning for sure.
There have been a few. And I knew one of the gentlemen that happened to. That were in the news a few years ago. Yeah, it was very, very sad that that person did succumb while waiting for service.
For sure.
But okay. So I guess that's something that we're all concerned about.
Yeah, it's up to the provincial government as usual. It's really tricky because, the hospital beds seem to be a really big issue, and part of the reason that these ERs are always kind of waiting because you're waiting for a hospital bed to free up. Hospital beds are taken up by a lot of people who could be in nursing homes. We're trying to build nursing homes, or at least the province has said they're building, and it takes time to build up those nursing homes and build those spaces. So it's not going to be something that's fixed overnight. Right. That's for sure.
Well, the government is prioritizing people in hospitals who are kind of the bed blocker type people to get them into nursing homes over the next few months to try to ease that load. But also, I guess there's also the lack of family physicians, and then people go to the ER for very basic things. Like, you have a cold or severe cold or flu or something, and you need a prescription or something. And you have to go to an ER to get that, where really, I mean, you don't you shouldn't have to go to an ER for
Oh
that sort
yeah.
of thing. There should be a clinic or
Yeah, I've been, I go on eVisit MD
yes.
sometimes, the app, because it's pretty easy to access, and especially if you're suffering with something that you can't really go in and see somebody, it's very useful. But, I've been directed to the ER for things that even I thought was like, I feel like I probably shouldn't go to the ER just because I understand that they have to kind of cover themselves and they have to be like, hey, you should probably see someone and be physically assessed. And the way to do that is to go to the ER. But it's unfortunate that there's not a better way. What I am excited for is the potential for like AI diagnoses. And
Oh
I
yeah.
think that that could be like a really life changing thing for a lot of New Brunswickers where you could get the diagnosis that you're looking for and be able to kind of like triage yourself whether you should go to the ER or and just be able to kind of show that to the pharmacist and get like access to like medication or something. And I know that there
Well,
probably has to be some sort of like regulation behind it, of course, but I think that it's a way that the hospital staff for sure can kind of be a little bit, the load can be lightened.
well, that would all depend on the input. I mean, the way AI is kind of now, you have to input kind of the raw data, and so if you trust yourself, like to enter the right
Yeah, no, yeah,
raw
for
data.
sure. But if you could take like a picture, if it's something like physical, and
I see what you
that
mean.
that might be a
I
potential.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, of course, AI is going to change a lot of things,
hmm
but yeah, that's something to be hopeful for, I guess.
Yeah, bringing some hope into the whole healthcare, the healthcare situation, which, yeah.
Because weren't you the one just the other week worried AI was going to put you out of work?
Well, see, okay, I'm okay. I think AI can be very useful in some situations, and
Okay.
healthcare is where I think that it would be a really great asset.
All right.
So I stand by my I stand by my position. I can be
Because I
multifaceted in
thought,
my view of
yeah,
AI.
because I've been thinking long and hard that maybe AI could just replace you
Oh,
in the
great.
workplace.
Me as a podcast host too. I've seen AI
Oh,
podcasts.
oh, okay.
I saw there was one that I saw on TikTok that was pretty funny. It was a podcast featuring cats talking about
Okay.
how they go about their day-to-day life. So AI podcasts are a thing.
I don't think Fredericton's ready for cats.
Something else that has been in the news quite a bit recently is the red zones in St. John, which is kind of the climax of this saga that's been going on recently. The Chamber of Commerce CEO there in St. John, Shannon Merrifield, had sent a letter to the Premier asking for some action on this. The Premier had sent a letter back saying, we're working on it. The council had announced that tents and other unofficial shelters would be banned from these red zones in St. John in September. And now, more recently, the province launched their homelessness task force. So it's kind of
Right.
been an ongoing saga in the past couple weeks.
Yeah, yeah, culminating with the appointment of the cabinet ministers. I think
Yes, exactly.
David Hickey is the chair, and he's the housing minister, and I think Cindy Miles, the social development minister, and
Yeah.
the public safety minister,
Yep.
and the local government minister are all on those, and I might be missing one, but yeah, maybe justice, but I'm not sure. But anyway, the premier has kind of put some emphasis on that, particularly as St. John is bringing it to the fore. Yeah, I mean, a lot of eyebrows were raised around the decision of the St. John Council on kind of identifying areas where they didn't want to see encampments.
Yeah, I was surprised that I think it was all except one person was fully in support of this. I expected there to
Right.
be more back and forth, or at least some people opposed to it.
Right, and of course, it kind of begs the question of whether you're just pushing the problem out into other areas,
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I guess cleaning up the streets, I guess, is what they're trying to do. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence that it's going to work. I guess that there's a lot of businesses in Uptown that are
Right.
struggling, and that seems to be, kind of the common thread among a lot of these sort of situations. But
Yeah, well, that reminds me. So
yeah.
the big issue, kind of a month or two ago,
Mhm.
was when there was a fight in front of the coffee shop downtown,
Oh, wow. I didn't
uh,
know that.
and somebody got pushed through the glass window, the front glass window.
Right, of Javamoose, right?
Right, and
Right.
they broke the window in the course of the fight,
Yeah.
and that was like it was recorded, of course, as everything is these days,
Mhm.
and everybody in the province saw that, and
Yeah.
and so I think St. John was kind of. It kind of led the charge on something needs to be done
Yeah.
with the situation with people, and that's maybe one of the reasons why it got pushed in and out through council in
Yeah.
such a fast
Yeah.
manner. But
No, I think it is like a really tricky issue though, because, I mean, people become homeless for all sorts of reasons, the rising cost of rent, and it doesn't equate with really like the rising cost or it doesn't equate with wages so much, and it's not matching that. And then also I was looking up some things as well. And domestic violence is actually like a really big reason why a lot of people find themselves without a home as well, because, sometimes you have to flee a dangerous situation with not really another place to go. And there are a lot of supports that people who are facing these challenges need to access. You can't necessarily get a job if you don't have a house or a place to like eat or anything like that. So it's really hard to get out of a situation like that if you don't have the proper supports. And, a lot of advocates are saying if you push these people out of the centers of the cities where the supports are, people could even die. So I think there's a lot of like, I see both sides of it. It's a tricky issue for sure. Like, I understand that the businesses are struggling. And, there was even one person commenting on CBC as well. They said they couldn't get anyone to move into their new residential development. So it's tricky because people want to be able to live in the city. But I also think that the growth in homelessness that we've seen over these past 5 years especially is a direct result of, the services in our government not meeting the needs of some of our most vulnerable residents.
yeah, I agree. I agree with all that. I mean, I'm not going to debate you.
Yeah, no. I think it's just a tricky situation, and I'll be interested to see how this homelessness task force really goes. Hopefully they make some good like progress on it. I really be excited to see that, and hopefully they can work with business leaders and different services and advocates for homelessness and try to work towards a solution that everybody can benefit from.
Yeah, I mean the problem's a little different in every city,
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so St. John's an identifiable problem, but Moncton has been, seen as a problem, and they have had some. I remember a year or two ago, I think they put together a bit of a task force there in Moncton to deal with drug addiction and homelessness kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Fredericton, you hear some of this in the downtown as well.
Yeah.
Issues, and we've seen it right in our backyard where we have our offices. Kind of in a tree shaded kind of area, and you go up go up the trail a bit and you see encampments and that sort of thing. And so it's
Yeah.
not uncommon to see in the downtown Platte
Yeah.
and uptown actually too.
Yeah, they've
I
got a
think
shelter up there, I think. So, yeah.
right, yeah, yeah. I think there's activity uptown as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, and of course in the towns it's different. Like St. Stephen and various areas, Miramichi are dealing with problems in their own context. So I think when you're looking at this kind of overall kind of approach from the province, it has to kind of look at different ways.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of debate even in Fredericton where they had that temporary shelter on the exhibition grounds, and I
Yeah.
think they were trying to renew that.
Yes, I saw
Uh,
that. Yeah.
yeah, they're trying to renew that for 3 years or something
Mm-hmm.
there for the winter months, I believe.
Yeah.
And there's some pushback by some local residents that are saying,
Yeah.
do we approve of having this in this area?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to label them as not in my backyarders, but
A
I
little
mean,
bit.
well, no, I wasn't going to even say it, but I'm
Mm.
just saying that there seems to be some debate that where is the best place
Yeah.
to deal with these problems, because they're not only the problems of housing, but they're the problems of just people living in those areas, and they have addictions and they have issues that kind of
Mm-hmm.
that the community all witness,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of the issue, is that it's, once you've kind of centered it in an area, then all those neighbors kind of know and have kind of live with that
Yeah.
with the issue a bit,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's also tricky because we've seen in the news a couple of times in the past, like maybe 6 months or so, that, there's been propositions to have residencies for I think it was like rehabilitation centers to help people get out of hard times and things like that, and transitional housing, and people, the residents have just complained overwhelmingly in opposition to this. So it feels like there's just nowhere where these services can go where people are going to be like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Addictions, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think there was one place in Moncton that I saw.
Well, we don't have enough
Um,
addiction centers.
Yeah.
That's the issue, and we don't have enough publicly funded ones. There are some religious-based ones,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean the previous Higgs government got into a little trouble by funneling some money to some of these religious organizations, which are largely churches that are performing these tasks, and
Yeah.
that's great. I mean, I don't want to put down that the churches, aren't stepping up at some level, but they also have kind of their vested interest, right?
Yeah.
But it's at least somebody doing something, because we don't have the public services, and that's what I'd kind of like to see, is more investment in a public service
Yeah.
that doctors would operate, as opposed to ministers or lay people or that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
That doctors administer, and or medical people, and they work on addictions and that sort of thing. And then you can kind of work with them in terms of transitioning into housing once they break their
Yeah.
addiction, and about being housed. And there's some good things going on, obviously, in the housing front, with the small houses and the various things that are going on, and
Yeah.
I think they're building more public housing to try
Yeah.
to accommodate volumes of people.
That's something I'd really like to see. More social housing, more public housing. I
Right.
think I'd like to see a try to prevent people from getting to that desperate place where they don't have anywhere else to go. So before they get there, if they don't have the money to afford rent or something like that, I do appreciate a rent cap, but I feel like it's almost too late because rent has already gone up so much in the past 4 years. And so before they get to this desperate point of not being able to afford living, have housing specifically for those people to make sure that they don't end up on the streets.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's on the radar, and I think that we're there's a lot of in New Brunswick. There's a lot of module housing and that sort of thing being built, and so I think there are a lot of options for the government to actualize some of this, particularly I think when it comes to some of our modular home builders, in terms of building subsidized housing. Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, one more note, I guess, on the homelessness thing. I just hope that the homelessness task force can, figure out some solutions to this and figure them out soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
A challenge from Caitlin Dutt. That would be a good little segment for us.
Yeah.
Challenges. By Caitlin Dutt.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We are going to be seeing the U.S. ambassador this afternoon, aren't we?
Oh, yes. Yeah, the Fredericton. Well, he's on a tour of the U.S. ambassador to Canada, and he's touring some of the maritime provinces. I know he was in Halifax maybe yesterday, and he's going around. He's seeing the premiers, I think, primarily.
Yes. Yeah.
And in addition, I think he's adding on some speeches with some chambers of commerce, and the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce has one this afternoon with a question and answer with one of our colleagues, Jordan O'Brien, who will be asking some questions. We'll see.
I'm sure Jordan is very excited.
Yeah.
I'm sure he didn't get any sleep last night.
I hear he has 7 questions and he has 24 minutes to deliver those questions and get some answers. So we will see how that discussion goes. So that's great. We'll be going to that this afternoon. We'll see. Of course, the U.S. government is in the news, so
very often
there's lots of interesting angles to pursue there.
Yeah, with only 24 minutes to have a conversation, it's hard to get to everything.
Well, we'll report back next week on how that all went.
Yes,
how about that?
Exactly. Well, I already heard they reported on him some when he visited the Halifax Chamber of Commerce, with some interesting comments from him. So we'll see how it goes here as well, and if he makes similar comments.
Okay. Yes, he was tempering Canadians. Yes.
He was just kind of wondering why we couldn't be friends.
Right. Well, I think we wonder the same thing. Sure.
We do. I
think it's mutual. We all want to be friends.
Yes, exactly.
So, okay. So what else you got?
Well, we could talk about the upcoming by-election. I know that's not been in the news lately, but I am kind of excited about it.
Yes. Well, we discussed it, about a month ago, maybe.
With Paul Harpel.
Was that? Yeah, it was Paul Harpel, yeah. So Miramichi West is having a by-election because the Tory MLA stepped down to run as an MP, and he was successful.
Yeah.
And so it opened it up. It's a little bit of a sleeper, isn't it? I mean, we heard a little bit around the Liberals had been up there in early September, and we heard some activity, and I do see a lot of campaigning door to door, like on weekends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I see references to people
They're
going
really trying
up
to
and
get that.
knocking on doors, but other cabinet ministers and that sort of thing going into the riding, with Hannah Fulton Johnson running for the Liberals, and she's the executive director of the Liberal Party. And of course, her father is a stalwart Liberal employee who I knew quite well. He was
cool.
yes, he was quite a resource in terms of a guy about the legislature on the history of things, particularly when it came to the Liberal Party. But
that's cool. Yeah, but she's a strong
other things in
candidate,
general.
though.
Yeah, Hannah's a smart cookie. So so she is running. She's run before. I think maybe just once before.
I think so. Yeah.
And so she's trying again. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think they're really trying to get her in because, I remember when I think we already mentioned this in the Paul Harpel episode, but they hosted New Brunswick Day in Doketown. At the moment, I was like, why are they doing this? But then I realized that's in Miramichi West.
Well, they move it. They used to move it around. I mean, I think you're maybe used to the fact that they've had it in Fredericton for a few years,
that's
mainly
true.
because of COVID, I think, because... Yeah, they had probably because of COVID, they just kept it at the legislature. Because you remember the big COVID dance. You remember when COVID was over and they got them all up on the stage and they were all dancing, Higgs and...
How could I forget?
Yeah, everyone saw that video over and over and over. But anyway, they used to move it around a lot. Like that was, and it went into small towns. Like I recall it being in, I don't know, or Mukto,
or Mukto's still bigger than Doketown.
I'm trying to think of other places it would have gone, but yeah, it has moved around.
Yeah.
So it's not uncommon, but yeah, it's probably a happy coincidence that it was.
I'm sure that they were thinking about that when they put it in there.
And of course, the main rival is the Conservative, who's he's a mayor of one of the small towns up there.
Kevin Russell.
Kevin Russell, yes, Kevin Russell. Yeah. So he is probably the main rival. I haven't heard. I know there's other candidates, but I haven't really heard anybody that's making some noise.
Yeah,
so
I think there's a Green candidate, but I think it's going to be a tight race between the Liberals and the PCs up there.
Right. And do you know the date of that?
October 6th. So we're really just 3 weeks away from that. So we'll know.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because if my notes are correct, it looks like in the past election, the Liberals were in second with Mark Hambrook at 33.7% of the vote last time.
I see.
So given that, it's going to be kind of a heavy lift. So we'll have to see. We'll definitely be watching.
All right. So why don't we commit to our vast listening audience to pursue the winner of that and get them on.
Yes.
Why don't we do that?
Exactly.
Yeah, so we'll if there's some hope for in October, maybe we'll have the winner of that by-election on. And we've also been in talks with Danielle Alain, who's running for the PC leadership. And the PCs have a annual general meeting coming up in October, late October, and where they'll be electing, I think, a new president. And, of course, they have a leadership campaign that's on the go. It's not going to be this year, but it'll be into next year. But Daniel Alain is from Moncton is... I don't think he's officially thrown in, but he's a wink and a nod, and
he's definitely going to be in that race. I'm pretty sure
he's been seen all over the province.
I would bet on it.
Going to every cocktail party or barbecue or whatever they are.
The pre-campaign.
So I would say he's hot on the trail, and so we're in talks with Danielle to get him in maybe in October as well. So
that'll be a great guest.
That's probably we're pretty hopeful on that one. And of course next week we're kind of doing something a little different. I don't know if you recall, but we're going to have the great Bob Merzero.
Yes, that's
in
right.
Mr. Music, Bob Merzero.
I'm very excited.
So I think, I was texting with Bob last night and on a few issues, and I sent him a photo that I wanted him to look at. So I said, I'm going to bring this photo up during the podcast so you can tell us what's going on in this photo. And of course, he's researching some music books, and he's put out some books already on the top 100 albums in Canada,
sure.
and the top singles in Canada. And so he's researched in a broad sense, but I think now he's specializing in a few particular aspects of music history that we're going to get into with him.
The last time I talked to him, I think, was maybe like 2018. I interviewed him for the student paper.
Right.
Back when he was teaching a class about, I think it was records or something.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, of course, Bob was the entertainment reporter for the CBC radio and TV, I guess, here in the province for a number of years. So he, of course, he's gone around to all the festivals and done all that. So we're going to get into a lot of interesting stuff with him.
He'll have a lot of stories to tell.
Well, yeah, and why I mentioned it is maybe, you can think of, some of the things that you'd like to know about.
Of course.
Always. some music history, particularly, I guess, if it's even maritime bent might be interesting, or whatever, Canadiana or whatever.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Okay, excited.
So I guess we're going to wrap it up for the week.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning in to this special edition of Soundbite, everybody.
Okay, and people can hear us on various platforms.
Yep, Spotify, YouTube at this point. I think we've got Apple Music, and those three are our main ones right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And we got our clip show. We got our little clips that go up.
Of course, yes, on all of our social media platforms. We're pretty much everywhere. So
we're very clippable.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Thank you for listening to Soundbite, a production of Porter O'Brien and CHSR 97.9 FM. Special thanks to our podcast host, CHSR, our sound editor, March Rojas Velasquez, as well as Adam Porter, who provided our theme music. You can find all our episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts under Soundbite, and you can follow us on Facebook, Blue Sky, and Twitter at SoundbiteNB, as well as LinkedIn under Soundbite Podcast.